Mark Strassman sat down with Bernice King, the only one of Dr. King's children to follow him into the ministry. They talked about her father and that legendary speech.
1963 is not an end, but a beginning.
No moment defined the movement quite like this one. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. articulated the dream from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial.
We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline.
As I listen to him, his messages, as I read his speeches, I'm like, wow, we need you. We need your voice today.
Pastor Bernice King is Dr. King's youngest child.
So you guys would sit here?
Right, one, either first, second, or third row.
We met her inside Atlanta's historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, where her father and grandfather both pastored.
Do you feel your dad in here?
He's constantly with me wherever I go. You know, I think about him more today because he was a moral voice in our society. And we don't have that today. That moral voice is missing.
Dr. King and his wife, Coretta Scott King, had 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. Bernice, now 50, remembers her father was gone a lot, but his homecomings were special.
My mother would say that he would just turn into a little kid. He would get lost in the fun with us, and it was as if you were like, is this the same man that's leading this movement?
He was on the road a lot. Was it a big event when he came home?
He said, we're gonna play the kissing game, and I would, you know, leap up into his arms, and everybody had what he called a sugar spot. And then he would go through all of the kids, and I would kiss him in those various spots, which is forehead, 2 cheekbones, and my sisters happened to be right off to the side of the mouth. And so that was our time of bonding, really.
Favorite memory of Dad?
Unfortunately, I don't remember a lot. I was 5 when he was assassinated.
At Dr. King's funeral in April of 1968, that's Bernice in the white dress with her grieving mother. All of his fatherless children struggled growing up as kings.
For me, I ran from anything regarding him. And part of it is, you know, this whole shadow. You know, who am I? Honestly, I did not spend much time reading any of his books, very, very little. Listening to his speeches and messages, I just kind of ran away from all of it. And it sort of probably resenting it.
As a teenager, Bernice spoke at the United Nations against South Africa's then system of apartheid. At 24, she became an ordained Baptist minister. Today, she's also CEO of the King Center for Nonviolent Social Change in Atlanta, founded by her mother. A special exhibit there this month commemorates the March on Washington.
They were concerned with whether or not they would have, you know, enough people.
250,000 people crowded the Washington Mall. King spoke last.
Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy.
The speech's signature moment came in the final 4 minutes, when he departed from his prepared remarks.
I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He was talking about you. Mm-hmm. Was that a lot of pressure over the years?
No. Where I feel the pressure is people's interpretation of whether or not I'm just like him. Because I can't. I'm Bernice. My brothers are who they are. It's like we should be Martin King Jr. clones, and we never can be because God created us all uniquely.
The march helped spur passage of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Federal Voting Rights Act followed. But Dr. King's dream called for much more.
People tend to forget that along with the call for racial harmony, it was also a call for jobs,
right,
for a living wage.
Exactly.
You've seen all the statistics about, you know, black unemployment rate, 14%, double the national average, 30%, 6% of black workers make federal poverty level wages. So what is the state of the dream today?
I guess some people would say maybe we are in the same place because the disparities are still great. He saw racial injustice and economic injustice as twins. And therefore, the dream still has to be realized and fulfilled. I mean, you know, we're not there.
Not there, but edging closer, 50 years after her father challenged America's social conscience. For CBS This Morning, Mark Strassman, Atlanta.
I've heard Bernice King speak, Charlie. She certainly has her dad's oratory skills. She's an amazing speaker.
It was a remarkable day, and what Dr. King brought, not only the words, but the cadence. I mean, he had a perfect pitch for that moment in history.
Yep, those iconic words, the content of their character. It gives me chills every time I hear it.